Dante, you saw Tarot. Tell us about Tarot.
Yep, Tarot. Oh my God, this movie was bad. So Tarot, starring really nobody of substance. I think the biggest star in the film was the fat kid who played Peter Parker's friend in the MCU Spider-Man movies. Um, what's his name? Brandon
Oh,
something.
something like that. I forget his name. He's Filipino. I know that.
Yeah, he's Filipino. That guy, the one who played.
I think it's Dante Bustamante. I believe
Yeah,
that's the name.
Tom Holland's best friend in Spider-Man. He's the biggest star, and basically, it's a movie about 7 college friends who rent out this Airbnb at this spooky house. Right, that's like 4 hours away from their college. Break into a forbidden room they're not supposed to go into. Right, go into the basement and see a bunch of weird artifacts lying around for no real reason, and then come across this wooden box full of tarot cards, and it just so happens that one of the 7 knows how to read tarot. Imagine that, right? So so the girl warns her friends that, and they're all drunk, obviously, warns her friends that you should never read someone else's tarot cards because you never know, right? So she gives us the warning, but they insist because they're drunk and they're not afraid of anything. And sure enough, she reads these cursed tarot cards, and all of her friends are basically dying in the way that their cards came out. So that's the story. And look, man, from the bad acting to the ridiculous story. Okay, so let's start with the ridiculous story. Why would 7 college people rent a weird house 4 hours away from their college with no lake, right? No river, no nothing to really do outside except drink, right? And then, of course, they break into a room that they shouldn't be in just because that's what people do, right? When they rent an Airbnb, you know, screw the deposit. We're going to break into a room just because, right? So they do that. It was just, look, man, if this movie were scary, I would have been more okay with it because it's like, okay, at least it's scary. It wasn't scary. Wasn't really that funny. At least not in the way that they wanted it to be. I mean, it was comical in a lot of ways that were because it was a bad movie. And look, here's the thing. I will say this: they did hit their diversity quota. Oh, they hit it hard, man. They had a lesbian couple. I think the fat kid from Spider-Man played a non-binary character. You know, they had the one black guy, they had the one white girl, right? They had one guy who might be white. I couldn't tell completely. And then they had a Latina, right? So they covered all their bases, man. Because the Asian kid was also non-binary. So they checked every box they could. So bravo, I guess, on that, right?
Well done.
Well done. They made sure they ran it through the AI, and they hit every DI checkpoint. It was not a good film. It was so bad that because I did, on Thursdays I do the double feature because I'm doing a show with you, and I saw that movie first. Thank God, because after I saw that movie, I went straight to the bar and drank for an hour, then went back and watched The Fall Guy because that's how bad Tarot was.
Yeah,
I needed to drink in between films.
I mean, can you imagine? First of all, it was Jacob Batalon. That's his name. But look, let's be real here. I mean, how much worse would this movie have been had it been an all-white cast?
Oh no! No matter who they cast, this movie was bad, right? I'm just saying that I blatantly noticed how diverse that whole group was. It was like I never see groups like that in real life. I'm sorry, I just don't. Not to that extent, where they literally have everybody.
Let's be real. When I show up to a movie meetup on Thursdays, it looks like that.
Okay, not in the way this movie projects.
Well, racially speaking, let's put it racially speaking.
Like it's like they made sure to not miss anybody.
Yeah. But my
right?
point is that the movie is better because of that diversity, and
Oh,
that it would have
of
been
course.
so much worse had it
Look,
just been a completely white.
nothing would have saved this movie. There's no cast that they could have cast that would have saved this movie. You could have cast like every A-list star in Hollywood to play these parts, and it still wouldn't be bad because the story is just awful.
Yeah.
And the
Let's get
production was really dumb. The only thing I'll give it credit for is some of the makeup was pretty damn good. I'll give them that. Like the makeup was
Mhm.
good. The monsters from the tarot cards were cool. You know what it reminded me of, man? If I'm being honest, it gave me the same disappointment I got when I watched 13 Ghosts. Right?
Mhm.
Remember that movie from
No,
like
I
the mid
don't.
2000s? 13 Ghosts. Great. And look, I like it even though it's a bad movie. But my thing is that movie has so much potential to be amazing, right? I felt like this movie had that same potential if they did it right. It could have been a great horror film. And it's almost like they didn't have the balls to go there, to really
I
go there. And
I kind of want to hone in on that, but what was it about this story that just that fell short? When you say go there, where should they have gone?
I, I you know what? Oh man, I feel like it was like a combination of the bad acting along with these monsters, these things didn't. I feel like they didn't go deep enough, right? Like they didn't. I feel like there could have been more lore to like what they were talking about. There could have been more depth to the way that these monsters were killing and why they were killing. Like they
Mhm.
do explain what happened and how the cards got cursed. Okay, at least they do that. But it just felt so like lazy.
Mhm.
Lazy. That's the word I'm looking for. It felt like a lazy horror film. Like
I
they did just enough to call it horror and then, wandered off.
Yeah, going back to the whole diversity thing, um, I think it probably would have been a better movie had it been all white people, because then you'd see 7 white people dying. Uh, yeah,
Look, I'm not saying people didn't die in the film. It's just there was a lot of corn involved, right? It was, and I'm not using corn as a sub for porn. I mean, it was just corny.
corniness. Yeah.
It was just corny. Okay. You know what? This movie could have used some boobs, to be honest with you. We didn't get any boobs. Uh, and thankfully we didn't get any male nudity either, because they like to do that now, right? It's like they won't give you boobs, but hey, here's some balls for you, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so it just wasn't a fun movie, man. And that kind of movie should have been, if it wasn't going to be scary, it should have at least been fun, right?
Mhm.
Because there's fun horror and then there's scary horror. It was neither.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, give us your final thoughts on it.
Oh, absolutely not. Like, look, this movie was short, and I still feel like I wasted too much time. It made me want to drink when I was done. A movie shouldn't make you feel that way.